Night. You are watching the Pandemic Proof Singer Series. I'm Danielle Tucker, your host. I am a singer, a vocal coach, a sing with the Mighty Untouchables band. I was the recent producer and host of the Pandemic Proof Singer Summit, and we will be having the sequel to that coming this year. More details on that to come. But what we do here on the Pandemic Proof Singer Series is we bring in singers. This is for singers, about singers. It's about us moving forward in the midst of this pandemic, industry shutdown. And it's about really kind of bringing community together, lifting one another up, inspiring each other, and just doing hard things together and having a lot of fun too. And we would love for you to jump into the comments if you're watching and tell us where you're at. Just come on and say hi. We'd love to say hello to you. With that said, I am going to introduce my guest tonight. She is amazing. It's Audrey Callahan. She is an accomplished recording artist, songwriter, and vocalist. She's released several singles and EPs. She's appeared in documentaries and films. Tonight, we're just going to dive into her latest projects. She had a release campaign that she put a ton of work into this past year, and she's got some stuff coming up here in the near future too. So let me bring her on. Hello.
Hi. Thank you for having me back. I love your show.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you back. Thank you for saying yes. Before I
Yeah.
forget, let me post all of your social links in the comments so people know where to
Sure.
find you. So, what's been going on? What have you been up to since the last time we talked?
Oh my gosh, I released my first Christmas album since the last we talked. Holy moly, that has been a bucket list item for me for such a long time. And it finally happened. I had the physical copies. I put a great deal of effort into the release plan of it, something I haven't really done before. Before, I'd pick a few marketing things here and there and apply them, but this was like a thought out plan. So I was pretty happy with that. But yeah, that's the biggest thing. And now I'm in writing mode. I'm recovering a little bit from how much of work that takes to release an album properly. So now I'm just back to building up my song catalog so I can do it all over again.
Yeah, yay.
Yeah.
Well, I want to hear a lot about your process. And I remember that you really documented the whole unfolding of everything really, really well on Instagram
Awesome.
and other places. But one of the very first posts I remember seeing about your project was your, it wasn't a spreadsheet, but it was like a project management chart that you had mapped out, and it was color coded. It was basically your process. And I was just like,
it just
really
like it calls to you. Yes. It's the first time I did anything like that. It was in Trello. Have you used Trello before or any of those kind of?
I haven't. I usually use Asana, but yeah.
Same deal. Yeah. For the longest time, I've been releasing music since 2014. And back then I had no clue what I was doing. So as I did things, I would just kind of throw it in the Trello board. And then after a while, there's just all this millennia of steps. So I started organizing it, pre-release, post-release, and then I jumped into entrepreneur training. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a popular marketing training for singers. So I popped into that and I learned so much stuff in there. So I just started organizing it so that I could stay on track, because it's so easy for me to get sidetracked and forget where I'm at or miss a step. So yeah, I just started organizing it, and I felt the biggest relief having it all just laid out and knowing what step I was on at any given time. And yeah, that was the crux of the whole thing, was the steps.
Yeah. Well, you were really smart to do that, because I know it ended up being a lot. What was the timeline you had given yourself to kind of from recording to release?
Not enough time. I remember at one time I saw someone I respect highly in the musical marketing community say, oh, here's your year-long release plan. I'm like, a whole year? Like, that's a long time. And I was like, oh, I got this. I barely had it. So I had all the steps, but I felt like I was rushing it a bit when it all came down to it. I had my music recorded early for a Christmas release. I was in the studio in like June. So I think I had like all my songs done by August. And then I really started diving into the marketing maybe like October. So that was only like 3 months. And I guess in like a normal span of things, that's pretty decent. But for me, I had all this stuff. I don't know if you saw it, I had an album journey. So people, they'd sign up for this thing called the Holiday Express. So I'm like, all aboard the Holiday Express. And it was a multi-day journey through my album. So I had to build hidden pages that gave them, like little goodies, like they could hear the song early, they could see me in the studio recording it, they could, like I would hop on lives on every day that I was doing something special. I'd sing songs for them, I'd share a story of how the song was created, I'd share the song early that they could hear it. Like it was this whole thing that had automatic emails that were triggered and went out when people signed up, and like just all this stuff that I didn't
laid
think
it out.
Yeah, and even down to my shopping cart when people checked out. This is one aspect I loved, and I would implore anyone who's selling a CD or anything to do this. And it's such a simple concept. It's the upsell concept. So and cross sells and things like that. So when they would purchase the album, it's like, but wait, did you want to get? I recorded. There's more today only. I recorded the night before Christmas, like an audiobook, and so I read the whole thing, and I added little like Santa laughing in it or sleigh bells. Like, I made it super special. I'm like the $3.95 before you check out, and people are like, okay, I'll add that, and then they hit checkout. They're like, but wait, but it was at times where it was like, when I heard about it, I'm like, how annoying. Why would I do that to my people? But it's the way you present it. Like one of them is a pop-up, another one is just like a little yellow thing below a checkout cart. So I offered them my regular non-Christmas album for half the price and just things like that. And as I was watching the checkouts happen, pretty much everybody bought those add-ons, and it just automatically adds so much more to your income status, because this all takes quite a bit of money to produce an album. Right. So it just helps get some of that back. So I loved that whole checkout process and everything, but I would just recommend getting started so early if you're gonna do all the things to get started. I don't know, 6 months at least in advance.
Yeah. Well, with this, this obviously was not your first rodeo doing something like this, or having a release, but it was a big one for you.
Yeah.
How would you compare your results to prior releases, having done all of the pre-planning and just really mapping out the process? How were your results, and what, if you can share details on what worked and what didn't work?
Yeah. I'd say that it's they were both so different. I'd say the things that worked with this one were the retention levels. I pushed my email list a lot on this one. To sign up for the album journey, I first needed to get your email. Whereas with past releases, it was very much just like pre-save, do this, do that. And I got quite a bit of friction, but I didn't hold on to anybody. So this time around, and last time around too, I did paid ads. This time I couldn't, because I had done all this A/B testing and Facebook ads and like had all the perfect thing ready to go. All I had to do was like press the button, and when it was ready, my entire ad account got disabled. So I couldn't do anything regarding my release like moments before it went out. I know. I was so mad at Facebook, and it was actually, I feel like, a blessing in disguise, because in the past I had relied on ads, and that cost money to do that. And this time around, it's like I was already thinning out the budget with the things I was doing. And so I had to rely on pretty much just myself and my existing fan base and organically reaching people, putting out content, like creating interesting things to get people to share it. And I don't know, I felt like that was such an important lesson for me to learn, because I don't want to have to rely on ads and spending money and Facebook that can just shut you down any minute. I want to be able to organically build my audience. So I feel like that was a huge learning lesson for me this time around, was don't rely on ads. So definitely retention levels, learning tactics that were more organic in nature this time around. So I'd say it was overall more successful in that regard, because I feel like last time maybe I saw a lot of shares and a lot of views, but it didn't really equal, someone checking out. Like a lot of people didn't buy my album, whereas this time I almost sold out of it. So monetarily, this one was better. I guess the ego felt better on the other ones, because more people saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's incredible. Before I don't want anyone to feel ignored, so a little shout out to Eric Miller. He's watching with
Oh,
us.
hi, Eric. I'm
Yeah,
not
and
on the thing, so I can't see it. I
yeah,
didn't
Eric's
prepare.
here, and Sheena Burton.
Sheena's a
Yeah.
fabulous singer as well.
Oh, awesome. And Judy Price. She says it's an awesome Christmas
Judy.
album.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, and then there's this is a handle, Rolando Conmasflo. She's asked, or he's asking, um, oh my gosh, I'm my old lady eyes. He's asking if it was difficult to learn the pronunciations in Spanish from one of the songs.
Oh, I do sing in Spanish. I don't have a Spanish song on that album. But I'm a native Spanish speaker, so no, it's
No, it
not.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not hard for me. I'm actually coming out with some Spanish music this year as well. So if you like Latin music, stay tuned.
Nice, awesome. Well, on
Yeah.
that note, what are you involved with right now? What do you have coming up?
Yeah, so I'm taking a bit of a break from undergoing a huge marketing endeavor for right now, and I'm building my catalog, and I'm really interested in sync this year. That's a huge goal of mine, is to land some music in TV and film, and I've taken a few courses last year, and I just finished those courses, and so now I'm in go mode, and I've gotten a few things are moving forward. Nothing landed yet, fingers crossed. Something will land soon. So I'm just in catalog building mode. I'm writing nonstop. I have writing sessions every week. I'm recording vocals for things. I'm exploring different avenues of music. In the past, when I released my EP, I feel like everything was a certain sound, and it kind of has to be. I feel sometimes when you release an album, everything's kind of sonically the same. But now, as I mentioned, I'm dabbling in Hispanic music, finally getting back to my roots. I have a country song I'm working on. I have there's like this like rap. It's like a positive, like if you're on my TikTok, you'll might notice that I've started doing like little rap singy song things. I love the style because it allows you to get so many lyrics in such a small space, so I can really express what I'm trying to say. So as soon as I have about 8 or so singles loaded, then I'm going to embark again on the whole release journey, apply what I learned from before, make it that much better, do a super organic approach, and not rely so much on Facebook ads. And I'm really excited to learn that, because I don't know about you, but I haven't personally discovered an artist through a Facebook ad. Have you?
Wow, no, I don't think so.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Every time I do, it's organic. It's like a share. Now it's like TikTok. I've discovered a lot of artists on TikTok because it's natural. Like a video goes by, it's them with like a messy bun and whatever, just singing some song that I connect with. It's not like this polished thing. So
Mhm.
I'm kind of focusing on that more.
Wow, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
noticed a little while ago you had posted something about having your first live pitch opportunity. Tell me
Yes.
about that. What's the
Oh
process
my
of that?
gosh. I had quite a few of them, and those were through the courses that I took.
Mhm.
It's not the easiest thing in the world to just get the head of any company or the music supervisors on a one-to-one. So I was really thankful for that, and they listened to my songs and gave me feedback, and I got good feedback on them. But yeah, it's kind of nerve-wracking to hear your songs in that way. In the past, it's always been I release my music as an artist, so you naturally attract the people who love your music and they say good things about it. But
Mhm.
when you're pitching it for an opportunity and it gets turned down, it has nothing to do with whether it's a good song or not. It's just not a right fit.
Yeah.
So I'm just getting used to more and more no's, but that's okay. It takes a lot of no's to get to a yes, and I'm okay with that. So those were really exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. It sounds intimidating to me.
It is. Oh my gosh. It's so intimidating. Yeah. But I love it. It's forcing me to really get better at writing. Before I would just write a song, record it, release it. It's on my EP, and it is what it is. But now it's like just the sheer volume of stuff that I'm doing, and co-writes. I haven't really co-written until the end of last year. This year, I don't know if you've co-written before, but it's expansive. It just helps you see other people's way of doing things, and I feel like I'm uncovering different styles and little talents that I didn't think I had. And I didn't used to be terribly confident as a songwriter, and I feel like I'm strengthening that this year.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Um, I love that you're involved in so many different things, and,
Yeah.
I think we touched on this the last time that we talked. I like to use the word scrappy, when you kinda have that thing
Yes.
inside of you where you have a goal, something that you wanna do, and you just go out and learn how to do the damn thing. And I just love that you jump in and you seem to have, a lot of things in circulation, and you're so savvy. And one of the things too I wanted to say was, I so admired back in, gosh, I don't know, it was before the summit. I had invited you to be a speaker, but you had to decline because you
I
were
know.
so involved with your release. And but I thought that was so great because
Oh,
that
good.
was obviously that was part of your plan. You knew that
Yeah.
you kind of had to take this season or this time and stay, laser focused on,
Yeah.
what you were doing. And I think it's really cool for other singers, other artists to hear that, knowing that, that is the level of commitment it takes, if you really want to, see good traction, on the
It
stuff that you
really
release.
does. And I talk about that a lot with my singer friends is yeah, I wanted to do that summit so bad, and I'm so glad it's coming around again. But yeah, saying no to things so that you can say yes to other things that are already on the plate. Because especially as a singer and up and coming one, you want to say yes to every opportunity that comes along. Like you had a lot of great speakers there, a lot of eyeballs there. That would have been a great opportunity for me, but I knew another area would have suffered. So yeah, even when it comes to my work day, I mean, I've been working for myself since I was 25, but in the beginning of those work years, I would get phone calls in the middle of the day from my family or my friends or this or that, like, hey, let's go to the beach at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that. I'm like, I can't, I'm working. They're like, working on what? Like, you don't have any clients? Like, I'm
You
like,
don't even
I'm working
care.
on getting them. Yeah. So it's just being so strict with it so that I can have fun later. It's creating my future freedom.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I totally respect that. Um, Not to jump around too much, but back to the
Yes.
TikTok
Jump.
videos. Talk about,
Yes.
having a lot going on. Your social media presence is always so great. You're really,
Oh,
really
good.
active. And now I recently saw that you are posting TikTok videos. Tell me what your kind of thought process or your strategy is behind which platforms you decide to use. Do you think you need to do all of them, or kind of rely more heavily on one or another? And how much time are you investing in putting the
Yeah.
content together, like the videos on TikTok?
Right. I think what I love about TikTok is how creative it is,
Mhm.
that there's all these different songwriting challenges. There's like voiceover challenges, which I want to be a Disney character one day, sing and speak the role. So that helps me dabble in that. It's very creative, like I can create songs, I can create little videos, and then I can put that everywhere else, because I was noticing it is hard to be on every platform all the time. But I feel like when I create my video over there, then I can move it across the other platforms, and it does cross over well. Whereas like Instagram is very picture driven. A picture doesn't really cross over to a lot of the different platforms. But these short little videos, I just feel like that's where it's at. And
Mhm.
not even the idea that I post something on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, TikTok has the most traction. Like I get more views over there, more interaction. I feel like I don't know, it's an up and coming way for people to discover. I've discovered so much music over there too.
Mhm.
So as far as how much time I put into it, my goal is to do one TikTok a day, and I'm not there yet. I'll get there. And part of that is just so that I'm present. I feel like when I'm interested in an artist, I want to see them almost every day, doing
Mhm.
something.
Mhm.
And so the goal is to do that just so I can stay in front of my audience. They don't forget about me. So I'm entertaining them. I love getting those comments of I put a smile on someone's face, or I made their day, or I had someone who told me something that brought a smile to her face while she was going through chemo. She's like one
Oh.
of my super close family members, and she's telling me how much my videos brighten her day, and I just live for moments like that. So
Yeah.
for me, it's like I just want to create as many smiles, as cheesy as it sounds, as I can. And I feel like TikTok is like, it's just a nice creative place for me to do that, and then put it everywhere else, just so that I'm able to be present for everybody.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
everybody listening, make sure you go and subscribe to her TikTok. Do you call it a channel in TikTok? I don't know. Is that what it's called?
I don't think so. I think just the TikTok.
Okay. Well,
But
subscribe to her TikTok. Check out her stuff. She's got great stuff up there. One that I especially love is the voiceover challenge that you did.
oh my gosh, wasn't it so fun?
Yeah, you were so great too. And I was thinking like,
nice.
my gosh, she just got her reel right there in one shot.
I thought about that. I was like, I could just extract that audio and like put it up, like hire me as, this or that. But no, bright shiny object. I'm trying to cut back on the session singing and things like that, and just have a healthy balance between that and building my catalog for sync purposes. Because I love sync and singing. I mean, session singing and singing other people's music. I love, getting that feedback that I help bring their idea to life. But this is the season where I want to bring more of my ideas to life.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Great. Yeah, and speaking
Yeah.
of balance, it within the content that you're creating, you're not just, constantly doing music content or really pushing that avenue. You incorporate all of your animals and traveling that you do, and you have a really nice personal touch on it. Tell me about you're in Southern California. But you have a really unique living situation your
Yeah.
property and your animals. So tell me about that.
Yeah, my life is a little bizarre, I guess. It all started because I grew up a city girl. I've always been in cities, and my husband and I decided to hit the road in an RV, and we did that for 2.5 years, where we sold off everything, and I just put my music studio and our little belongings and our cat in an RV, and we traveled the country for 2.5 years. We loved it, but we're like, okay, like we could use a little more space. We want to settle down a little bit. So we couldn't go back to city life though. So we decided to look for some type of land situation, a ranch, but in California, the affordable ones are a little further out. So we moved a little further out, but no big deal. It's awesome out here. We're on 10 acres and we're right on an abandoned crystal mine. So the property is covered in quartz crystal, super
Wow.
just inspirational as you're walking around, being able to pick up. We've had people find amethyst out here and rose quartz and all kinds of stuff. And on top of that, we got animals. So I have 2 little baby goats and we have some dogs, and they just provide such inspiration. I just sit out there on the front porch and I just look at them, and I don't know, it just feel very present. I feel like I get so wrapped up in the busy day-to-day life and in algorithms and all that stuff, that just walking outside and seeing them just munching on flowers or just jumping in the air being goats, it's just so calming for me. I now get why people talk about goat therapy or animal therapy. It's a real thing. So yeah, we live on 10 acres in the middle of nowhere pretty much. The nearest town is, like, to get to San Diego would be about an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love it. We live out in the country, and just
Nice.
all I can say is, being able to get out in nature every day, or at least just see it outside your
Yes.
window. It's really, I don't think I could do without that.
Yes. We were
Yeah.
talking about today too, because we go on hikes every morning. Just, how everything is vibrations, like humans vibrate at a certain level, everything. Negative things tend to have a lower vibration. Something about nature and its vibrational state, when it mixes with you, it raises yours to meet its pure level. So the more you can get out in nature, that's why people talk about grounding, where it's you take off your shoes and you put your feet right on the ground with Mother Earth, because it just has certain healing properties. So yeah, the more you can be out in nature. And the people who live the longest live by the beach. I don't think that's any coincidence. So I think,
yeah.
I think nature is here for us in a good way.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
We have Lauren Lee in the comments. Hey, Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
She said, oh yeah, Lauren told me about this. She said that your first interview that we did together really inspired her to get serious about session singing during the pandemic.
Yes.
And she says, thank you. And she's very inspired by your story.
You're so welcome, Lauren. Reach out anytime. It's an ever-changing market. And yeah, if you ever need help, please reach out. It's one of my favorite things to do, is talk to people in my DMs about music and goals and all that stuff. So yes, hit me up anytime.
Yep, and Lauren is a total badass singer. You gotta check
Nice.
out her stuff. She's
Ooh,
incredible.
okay. Yeah, I'll look her up.
Yeah. So you have built this lifestyle down to like just your living arrangements and the way that you handle your business. A lot of what you do is remote, and that's by design. You planned it out that way. You built up this great, session work. I'm curious to know, throughout with the pandemic hitting and kind of throughout, were you really adversely affected by all of this, or did life kind of just continue on for the most part for you?
That was the interesting thing is it actually got better during the pandemic. I think because people were home a lot more and they
Mhm.
wanted to get their music done. So, okay, well, let me start looking for singers that I can
Mm.
hire to. Yeah, so it got a lot better
Yeah.
pretty much right away. So I feel like I was glad to be in that kind of industry because oh my gosh, I feel for my people who are live gigging musicians and having to transition. I know it's hard for someone like that to sit in front of a computer and, maybe for some people might feel disconnected singing into a studio mic as opposed to that feeling you get from a live audience. I can imagine it's really tough. But yeah, it is nice to have that well-rounded aspect and be able to dabble in a few things just in case one of them doesn't work out, because sometimes the sync business might not be doing so well. Like, okay, I have session vocals, okay, that might not be doing so good. I have my Patreon, okay, I haven't gotten signups in a while, it's okay, I have merch or a CD that I can push, or just having the different avenues is nice.
Yeah, you do. You've got this great streams of income. You don't have
Yeah.
all your eggs in just one basket. So when all of this happened, what do you think was the key to you staying, successful? Was it that you already had the home studio set up, or was there one avenue of income in particular that just, did it for you?
I feel like session singing and Patreon has always had my back. No
Mhm.
matter what, I can count on. That's what's kind of cool about Patreon too, is the way I have it set up. I get paid per creation. So if I'm having a rough month, I can hop in there and maybe create 4 or 5 videos instead of right now I'm at one just because it's, I have so much going on right now. But even so, that one will come to me every month, which is nice. And then session singing too. I mean, even if you get on those session singing sites and people aren't hiring you right away, you can always seek it out in Facebook groups or just even doing a search on Facebook in their little search bar. If you type in looking for a singer, it'll pull up like every post and every group and everything. So I feel like it's just, I don't know, been pretty steady, the session work and the Patreon, I think, is
Yeah.
what really pulled me through.
That's great. It's refreshing to
Yeah.
hear success stories in the midst of all this.
Good. Yeah. Same here. I eat those up like candy for breakfast. I'm always listening to podcasts or interviews like yours and just, yeah, I mean, it's possible. It takes some work, but I mean, there's so many people out there doing it and kicking butt, and there's no reason we can't.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And it sounds to me like you do a lot in your life, doing your self-care, taking care of, your mind, body, and spirit. You're out in nature and everything. And I also saw you had read The Artist's Way, and you were kind
Yes.
of getting committed to doing like morning pages and everything. Tell me what your takeaways were from that book, and how the morning pages are going, or if they are still going.
Yeah, I'm still making my way through it. And I'd say my takeaway from that book, oh my gosh, is the morning pages. I was
Yeah.
dreading them. For some reason, I've just never been a journaler. You would think, I don't know, I feel like a lot of singers or writers maybe are.
Mhm.
But I just love that there's no pressure on them just to wake up and before you're checking your emails or doing anything else, you're just like brain dumping. And it could be anything. It could be any little feeling you didn't even realize you had, but it's like sitting there, but you talk about it. So then it comes out and then you can release it. And then it's
Yeah.
not stuck in there causing you problems, health
Mhm.
problems too, which is what I experienced last year. I ended up in the hospital for a multi-day stay and I got super sick. And that's when I really started turning it around on the self-care front. And now it's a non-negotiable for me. I'm not at my desk my whole life. I make sure that now I get up at 5 every morning now, and I've been doing that for a while. And oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with getting up early. I don't know how I avoided it for
I like
so
getting
long.
up
Isn't
early.
it great?
Yeah.
I was like, man, in the past I was at my desk at 9 and like I was rolling out of bed at like 8:50, like barely, you know? And now, oh my gosh, the time I'm juicing, I'm going for 3-mile runs with my doggies, I'm doing my morning pages. Like I have a whole life before work starts, and it's made such the difference. So yeah, I would implore anyone listening to just make that time for you and your art. Make time for both.
I know I'm obviously, if you're not a morning person, this is going to sound, a little more difficult, but if you're on
Yeah.
the fence, if you're willing to give it a shot, at least I believe that it's the kind of the little pleasures that will help you stay motivated to get up in the morning. For me, I, of course, like coffee is my number one. So the second I step out of bed, I march like right to my coffee maker, get my coffee, and I love it. I mean, that's just the whole act of making it, holding it. I love it. And
Yeah.
then the other thing too is I always try to catch the sunrise.
Oh my
I'll,
gosh, yes.
throw on a jacket, walk out in my front yard and just wait for it. And I don't know, there's just nothing like starting the day
I
with like
know. Yeah, and I used to be a night person. I worked in the service industry for a long time. And so I get it. It's hard to make that switch, and there are night owls too. I know there's a lot of famous writers, and I think Einstein was a night owl or something. So I'm sure there's probably a way for people to shift their lives around their schedule. But I think the takeaway is the extra time that you
Mhm.
dedicate to just you
Yeah,
is what's
yeah.
key.
You don't
Yeah.
wake up with that stress of like feeling like you're already behind by the
Yeah.
time like the world's been in total operation, you've been in bed and you've missed it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
That's awesome.
I haven't started doing morning pages. It's crosses my mind from time to time, and I probably should. But
Oh,
just to
yeah.
kind of comment on the journaling, I fully agree, because I have found that just writing in the journal, to me, in my mind, I tell myself that's not going to help. I need to
Mm.
figure things out in my head. I need to ruminate on this all day long and sort my feelings out a little
Yeah.
bit.
I used to do
But
that too. Still kind
yeah,
of do.
when I do just sit down and, journal something out, it is remarkable how it does. It just goes from mind to paper or computer and away. Or
Yes.
it's like it removes a layer.
Yeah. It's like you don't have to think about it anymore because you wrote it down. It'll be
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Good for you. I'm glad you wait, so you have gotten into that book or not yet?
I've read the book.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
but I never got totally committed to
Yeah.
doing the morning pages, but every so often it crosses my mind. And I think I should really bring that into my, my little practices in the morning. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. You'll get there.
getting there.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the content that you're producing. Um, for your social media, one in particular that I loved that you did this. You put up a post, it was a video about how you create choir vocals on
Yeah.
your tracks. That was so
Awesome.
great. How do you decide what types of things you're going to post, or where do you get your ideas from? Because you really have a great variety of things, and they all seem very personal to you. Some are like
Awesome.
really, business related, music related. Some are very personal. But what's your source of inspiration on those?
I love that you said that because I feel like I'm straying a bit from what the gurus might tell one to do, because they say the riches are in the niches. And
Mhm.
I feel like I'm one thing obviously I'm passionate about is singing and all of that, but I'm also passionate about the business side. But then I love my baby goats. And then like, so I feel like I post like kind of across the board. And one of my TikTok videos of my goats went viral. And so I feel like I have a lot of goat lovers on my page. So when I post a singing one, I feel like they're like, what? So I think, but also on the same tip, I feel like just being authentic is what's important. So even if you have varied interests, I feel like people are varied in general. You know, I feel like as long as you're providing some sort of value, whether it's entertainment or education or just levity, anything, I think that's what's most important, is it's authentic and that you're having fun doing it, so it doesn't feel like a chore. I'm having so much fun with this content. Like my Trello board is this long. You were talking about how I came up with ideas. Well, I started just going through like the different areas, things that I like or things that I've learned that I want to tell people about. Like I made one about the books that I love to read. And then, yeah, teaching. I love teaching different tips for singers, whether it be marketing or the choral vocals or whatever. So I have like a tip section that I pop ideas in. And then when I'm just scrolling around on TikTok, I'll see something that sparks an idea and I'll put that down. So I have probably like 60 or more ideas sitting in a board so that I can just wake up and be like, what mood am I in today? And just pick that one out and just knock it out. And it's only a minute long, the video, sometimes 15 seconds even. So it's not, you know, it's not completely overwhelming. And yeah, I love that it helps you see into a singer's life a bit more. The people I follow, I love their content and eat it up. So I'm glad that you said that about the choral vocals. I got that feedback a lot. So maybe I'll do a few more of those.
Yeah, it was great. I loved how you do that.
Cool.
And you're right. People love to see your personal life, you know, maybe not like the weird things, but just, you know, more, they like to see, you know, the story behind the artist and everything. And I mean, I do for sure. I always love that. So you're doing it.
Same here. So I'll just blaze the trail and hopefully make it work to having no niche on TikTok and making it work.
Yeah. Well, it seems like, and I think this is how you were the last time we talked, it just seems like you're in a really good place. You're in a good headspace. You're busy, you're thriving. Seems like, you know, all good things. And I probably should have prepared you for this question, but let's see what you come up with.
Okay.
I'm just curious to know, with everything that you have going on, what do you feel is the kind of core mission in what you do? What's the why behind the kind of music you're producing, the kind of gigs you're taking? What do you kind of feel like you're out to do in the big picture?
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that because I was actually working on in the new year, I reworked my mission and my vision and my 1 year, 5 year, 10-year goals. I'm all up in Excel with the color coded spreadsheets for my life. But to shorten it, it's to be a light post. It's to show people what's possible. For so long, I lived in fear about my singing career and I never tried it until I was 30. And even now I'm 38, which is like aging out of the industry as of like 10 years ago. So I'm so determined to just make it happen, no matter my age or any of that stuff, no matter my circumstances, how much money I have or don't have, what my resources are or aren't. I want to be the example of being my own greatest resource and making it happen no matter what. And if somebody comes across my content and gets inspired to make it happen for themselves and then does, that's just the ultimate. That's what I'd say I do it for. That's why I'm so passionate. What gets me out of bed every day to like, look, this is how you do choir vocals. This is how you become a session singer. This is how, because I feel like it's more fun to be able to talk to other people doing the same thing and all succeeding. And like, it would be a bummer if everyone I'm talking to is just down in the dumps. I can't do it. Only special people can do it. And I'm up here like, yeah, I'm special. Like, that's boring. I want to raise all the ships with me.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you're really, I think that is really coming across in all of the stuff that you're putting out, and all the way down to just those little videos that you do to kind of support the singing community. You're really essentially you're sharing your experience. You're sharing the things that have and have not worked well for you, and you pour such great detail into it, things that are, so helpful. And it oftentimes are they're little tips and tricks that some people might consider, that they kind of want to keep a secret, keep close to them,
Yeah.
so that, they don't, I don't know, things can be so competitive in this industry,
Yes.
but you're so generous with your information. Where do you see yourself going down that road? Are you thinking of creating more teaching educational content, or where would you like to go with that?
Yeah, in the past, I had an educational platform. It was called Dancing Singer, and I started it because I was in live bands and I couldn't dance and sing at the same time. I'd be out of breath and completely just not coordinated. Even though when I'm out clubbing, like I can cut a rug, okay? but
Okay.
putting it together, it was not working. So I created a dance class for singers, and we had live wireless microphones, which was key because I was in a whole production before, a burlesque production, where we never practiced actually singing while doing the dancing moves. So it was like a week out and I was out of breath and I was like, oh my God, what is life? How am I going to do this? So in that class, like we would be singing through the microphone so we could hear ourselves. We'd be doing jumping jacks while singing, like all this stuff. And then my artist career started to take over and I didn't have a lot of time for that class anymore, and goals shifted and I moved, I went RVing. And so long story short, that workshop is coming back around, but we're putting it online now. My partner at the time and now, she's the one who teaches the choreography and teaches you stage presence and all that stuff. So we're going to combine her knowledge in her module of, the performance side, and then I'm going to have the business side, and it's all going to go online, because the main thing is I just didn't want to take away too much time right now because I have so many goals that the teaching side of it, I do it for fun when I can, but I am teaming up with her. We meet every single week for about an hour and we just work on it. So however long it takes us to get there, it takes us, but we are working on it.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
Well, I
so
look
that'll
forward
help.
to that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I posted all your social media handles in the comments, so everybody needs to go
Awesome.
and join your pages so that you can stay posted on the things that are coming up for you. But before we go, where do you want everyone to go first? What's the most important thing to you to get out into the world right now?
Probably my website,
Okay.
music.com, because it has all my socials there, and then it also has my newsletter that you can sign up for so you can stay up to date on just all the things. So yeah, I'd say my website is the central hub.
Great, cool.
Yeah.
Audrey, thank you so much for
Thank
once again
you.
coming and talking to
Yeah.
me. It's always great to talk
Yes.
to you. I
Yes.
think we are kindred spirits when it
I
comes to
know.
organization and our strategery.
Yeah. Yes. Love that word. Yes. And I can't wait for your summit
Yeah,
and for all the things. Yeah, we've been in each other's lives for a long time
a
now
long
in one way
time.
or another.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
I met you when I was pregnant with my first child, and I had the brilliant idea of starting a company when I was pregnant with my first child, because why wouldn't
Nice.
I?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So once again, everybody definitely check out Audrey's website and then join all of her socials. And as we mentioned at the top, we do have the Pandemic Proof Singer Summit numero dos coming up. So more information to come on that in the near future. But if you could go to Pandemic Proof Singer on Facebook. Just look it up that way. And if you are a singer, musician, and you kind of feel like you need a little extra community and would like to be amongst your peers, join the group. We'd love to have you. And we'll have all the information for the summit coming up as well. And we'll be back here again, same time next week. I'll be talking with Leonard Patton next week. I'm super excited about that.
Awesome.
Thank you for everybody that took the time to listen in. We hope you got a lot out of it tonight. Most importantly, Audrey, thank you again.
You're
Thank you
so
so much
welcome.
for
Thank
just sharing
you.
yourself with us. Yeah, so good to see
Yes.
you. All
Yes, you
righty,
too.
everyone.
Until next time.
Yeah, good night.
Bye.